Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Game Design Perspective. I am Santi,
And I am out.
and today, last week we talked about the VGA awards and what the nominees were and what we thought about it, with some stories sprinkled around. But today, let's actually talk about the games we played this year, regardless if they came out this year or not. Like, what did we actually play and what was like the greatest video game experiences or game experiences that we had this year, right? um Before we begin, disclaimer, all this is our opinion, and our opinion alone does not represent our employer, previous employers, or future employers if it's this is our opinion and our opinion alone, based on our experiences in the game industry. That being said, so Mao, what did you play? Like something you played this year that like really called you, that is like really
Yeah.
interesting?
I mean, I played a lot this year, right? But one of the highlights I want to touch on is Kirby and the Forgotten Land,
Oh
which
yeah.
was released last year. It's a very easy platformer, not gonna lie. Kirby games tend to be like that, but um this one, like I was so invested in Kirby and the Forgotten Land due to how it managed, like how it presented its levels, right? Like
Yeah.
the camera is completely static, right? And there is so much to learn in the level design of this game, right? On how it guides the players, right? And how it hides its secrets. It's very, very interesting, right? Like,
Actually, this game is actually like I am about to get it because my partner is not into video games
yeah.
at all. And one of the coordination skills that players need to learn and we've grasped over the years is to control the camera and the character at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think this game is like pretty much a perfect like introduction to video games for people that don't play video games.
Yeah, it is. It is. I actually went through it a co-op with my girlfriend because she loves Kirby, right? She got it for Christmas last year, and we went through it. We loved it. Combat is super easy. At times, you'll actually feel like, oh man, Kirby has all of these cool abilities, and you wish combat was like, at least enemies required a little bit more of that. But at the same time, if you're actually gonna play it with someone who's not as skilled in games at all, it's perfect. Like it is a
Yeah.
perfect game. Like there's no camera issues like at all, right? There's a lot of exploration uh involved, and it's very little exploration, right? Because the levels are very contained and very focused, right? So it's actually a very, very cool game to go through with someone who doesn't play games. It's very easy. It's a very enjoyable,
Yeah.
solid platforming, and level design is so good. It's really, really, really so good. I've learned so much from this game into how to guide players without making them feel like it's just a straight hallway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It has a lot of charm into it. Like enemies are
It's Kirby,
so,
right?
yes, enemies are so charming with their big heads, right? You saw that crocodile that had like a massive head, right? Like there's a lot to enjoy here.
Yeah,
Very casual.
I'm gonna play with my girlfriend and see how that goes. I think it's a great introduction to video games. Maybe this is the gateway for her.
Yeah, and I usually casual people love Kirby, right? My girlfriend absolutely adores Kirby, right? And she's an Animal Crossing type of player, who tends to be like very casual, right? Like
Yeah.
I understand that not all of them, but my girlfriend is very casual, so she loved it, and I loved it as well.
So eh, I think we're talking about games that not necessarily were on the VGAs, right?
No, no. This was on the VGAs last year, but not nominated for Game of the Year, and I think it was for the family game
Yeah,
type of award,
makes
which
sense.
tends to be like it flies under the radar, right? I wish I heard more people were actually playing Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Not gonna lie, it's a great
Funny
game, man.
thing, I actually think it's somewhat harder as a designer to work on these
Yeah.
family approachable games, because you need like sometimes rivaling complexity.
Yes.
Like complexity in video games is something that gets out of hand real fast. Like from
Yeah.
one day to the other, your game is overly complex, or like you went to a completely different target market. Like,
Yes, I agree.
um,
I agree on that. One of the first things, like whoever wants to become a game designer or level designer, one of the first things that people will actually tell you is that it's easier to design something harder than something easier,
yeah,
right? And people just tend to go like, "Oh, it's too easy, man." When
that is so hard to do.
it's so
That
hard to
was,
do because
it's
you're talking
hard to
about
do.
accessibility.
Yeah, it's hard to do and make it fun, because you can make something
Yeah,
extremely easy and not being fun. But it's
exactly.
hard to make a
You're right.
fun game that is easy. I find it like harder, because you can, like, complexity, like it's a lot of games call it feature creep as well, but in general complexity gets out of hand. on
Very
that
easy.
side on that side, if I can bring a game I played this year that it was nominated to nothing, and I think it was brilliant, but it's really hardcore, really old school, but if that helps the game be immersive and absorb you, for me was, let me set this up,
I can see that now.
for me was System Shock.
Right.
The System Shock remake was, I never played the original myself. I think I'm having the video is a little bit slow, but the game I strongly recommend it. It's on PC. The controllers are not very accessible, to be honest, and the game doesn't
Yeah.
guide you. But the level design, how it's made, and its Metroidvania progression, the exploration of that game, the lack
Yeah.
of guidance helps its purpose, because if they guided you perfectly, like, to be honest, the game would be very short. It's like, go here, 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 and in 2 hours you can finish it. I don't know the speedrun of this game how it is, but without that, I've never played the original, but this remake was incredibly fun for me. The System
Right.
Shock remake, and something that I would like to appreciate really quick is the art style.
Right.
So I'm gonna put a frame really quick on the screen. Yeah, and so I don't know if it's very visible to you, but if you watch videos online of this game, the game looks really like high res until you get close to objects, and then you
Yeah.
realize that everything looks like incredibly pixelated,
Yeah.
and like that PS1 N6, like that PlayStation 1 old PC game texture, but like
Yeah.
upscaled. But only when you, so things that are close to camera look like retro, but as they get farther away they look more detailed.
Ah, that's
And
interesting.
yeah, it's so cool, Mao. It's so cool. Let me see in the trailer. Let's see if we can find something like,
Yeah, the trailer doesn't showcase it. Don't. Okay, that. I think that showcases
yeah,
it a
here,
little bit.
here. So
Yeah.
there it is, right? So you see things that are close to you are all pixelated. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
I can
all
see that.
look
I can see that.
super low res, but as they get
Yeah.
farther away, look, this was like a perfect shot for that. So you see the pistol.
Oh
the
yeah,
pistol
it looks. Yeah. Yeah.
But things farther away look super high res until you get close. They look way
Yeah.
higher res, and the art style was so much fun. And it's a
Right.
very simply designed game because of its age. The AI is simple and everything, but just the design methodology of not guiding you, letting you explore the ship, having this bad guy Shodan, which is one of the best bad guys in video game history, just there in your ear constantly, uncovering what happened here. It's such a rich universe, and it's such a
Yeah.
rich game.
Is
It's
this a
not really
shooter?
long. I wouldn't call it shooter. It's kind of like the origin of immersive sims.
Right.
So from System Shock started the whole trend, you can say.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was something before, to be honest, but System Shock is the first one. I remember this immersive sim kind of attitude of like getting immersed into the world, and there is no cinematics at all. It's all through like the world teaching you what happened here.
Yeah.
And then came System Shock 2, and then came Deus Ex, and then came Bioshock. With the reason that Bioshock is called Bioshock is because it's supposed to be like a spiritual connection to System Shock.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So,
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
it's
I
that
did
type
play
of
Bioshock.
game. Yeah. So
Right.
it's that type of game. But this one, with its unique retro art style, simplicity, but at the same time lack of guidance, it was an excellent game. An excellent game this year
Is it a
for
long
me.
game?
No, no, no. I think I finished it in like 8 hours, 9 hours, something like that. It's
Right. Okay. That's cool. That's
very
cool. Because as someone I don't play a lot of that genre. So if you have told me like it was a 20+ hour game, I wouldn't have gotten into it, but I'll try it. If you say like it's a short game, it
it's
sounds
a
interesting.
relatively short game. It's very immersive.
Yeah.
It absorbs you. You explore the organization because of its retro background. If you
Yeah.
see the original System Shock, it looks like Doom. The original Doom.
Yeah.
It's kind of that style.
Okay.
But the new one, they did a great job on modernizing a lot of things and some quality of life, and they delivered an amazing immersive art style. But at the same time, they preserved the spirit of it. It's really
Yeah.
fun. I really enjoyed it, and it's more importantly because you're discovering the world, and you get, if you allow yourself to get lost and uncover things, it's incredibly rewarding. So
All
this is
right.
something I wish games did more. They did more with less.
Yeah.
Don't guide me all the time so that I can experience what you made in a longer stretches, so it's more memorable. This is System Shock.
Nice. Nice.
Now, Mao, your
Sounds
turn. Another
interesting.
game. Tell me another
Okay.
game.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for another the game that was not released this year, right? If you think about it, it was a game for the GBA, but I was actually playing the remake for Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, right? So I think this game is incredibly special, right? I love the Mario and Luigi IP, right? Like I'm so sad that Alpha Dream has is out of this world, right? Like they go completely bankrupt and had to stop making the Mario and Luigi RPGs, right? But
Yeah,
Mario and Luigi
that's
Super,
so sad.
that's so sad. I love these games. I never had the chance to play the remake for this game, so I was extremely hyped to go for it, right? Like I love the art style for the remakes. I know some people out there don't truly enjoy this remake because the art style feels a little exactly like the others, right? Exactly like the two previous installments on the franchise, on the IP,
Yeah.
right? But I do think that I mean, if you're gonna play just Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and not gonna go for the entire IP, I think this is the way to do it, right? Like, its character controller feels really good and
Yeah.
super intuitive when you're playing, right? It sometimes it even feels like you're controlling a 3D character, just because it feels that good, right? When in reality you have like 16 directions because it's actually a 2D game, right?
16 directions
Yeah, I think so. I
or
think there's
8?
16. No, I think there's 16.
That really would make it feel 3D.
Yes, it feels really good. I'm almost sure that it was 16. Almost sure. I was trying it and trying it and trying it. And if it's 8, they made it feel great. But I think it's 16. And the character controller feels super good. It's a super approachable game, right? If whoever is not into turn-based RPGs, I would definitely recommend this as the first one, right? Like, it's not too hardcore. right? It has a lot of platforming involved, especially in the overworld. It has some very cool mechanics, and what I love about the Mario and Luigi IP is that they actually have a lot of they showcase a lot of what Mario and Luigi's relationship actually is, which I wish a lot of more games did that.
Yeah,
But Mario and
this looks
Luigi
really
are
fun. I never played it, but it looks really fun.
yeah, that's the Bowser's Minions mini game, right? Which is completely new. I haven't played it that much. It's actually interesting to play for a little bit, right? But it does feel like a great game, and especially if for people who are not into RPGs and want to get into one,
Yeah,
this is very very casual. I know I'm getting to very casual games, but I actually got interested into playing this remake because I just saw the Mario and Luigi and the Super Mario Bros. Movie, right?
yeah.
And I've always been invested into this sibling relationship they have. That's why I love this franchise so much.
Well, we both used to dress as Mario and Luigi as kids, right?
Yeah, yeah, no,
We
for
did
sure,
that. We did
for
that.
sure.
And,
There's
uh,
something I think Nintendo captured something really valuable in Mario and Luigi, and
yeah,
whenever there are two siblings, there are two brothers, like how the older one is always Mario and the younger one is always Luigi, and they
feels
capture that.
relatable.
It's very relatable. Like I can
Yeah.
never pick a favorite one because I love Mario and I love Luigi. I love them both equally. But if I were to say like, oh, who do you relate to? I'd say Luigi because I was the younger
Yeah.
one. I was the one that was back sitting, right? So
There's
that's
a
very
funny.
fun.
Yeah, I did the disconnected controller trick with you several times when you were.
Yeah, there's actually a picture of when I was, I don't know, about a year old, and this guy was playing Super Nintendo, and he handed me an NES controller when he was playing Super Nintendo, right? Like it was obviously unplugged. There was no way to plug that into a Super Nintendo, and I'm just like
You were
looking at the
complete.
screen, like
You
I
were
was
happy.
complete.
Yeah, you were happy. So,
Simpler days,
um,
man.
simpler days. For me, I'm gonna bring one from Capcom that I don't see people talk about, but it is Mega Man Battle Network.
Oh, you're getting into. Oh my god.
Yes, I adore this game. I think
Yeah.
it's the first Game Boy Advance game I got, and the collection was really incredible. What they did with it, like the first 6 games, which is like a complete storyline, online features, and the thing that I really appreciate this is because people that don't know, Mega Man Battle Network is the only Game Boy Advance game that has a competitive scene with tournaments online. They use emulators to play online, and it's super meta driven. There's new builds coming out. It's super easy to get into this game, but it's deep as an ocean. As an ocean. And it feels like a card game with a fighting game with an RPG all mixed up together. And
Battle Network is extremely unique. Like I haven't seen too many games actually trying to.
There's some indie games I have tried.
One Step from Eden, I think. Right?
Yeah,
no.
One Step from Eden. Yeah. Yes. And I think there's more, but the indie scene has tried to replicate this. But there's something about how Capcom approach these games that I think it's masterful. It's absolutely masterful what they did. So I enjoyed
it as well.
Yeah, I played the 6th one only, the latest one. Because
I made a mistake and I'm going for all of them.
Yeah, the first one is a little bit rough. Let's be honest.
It is rough.
And it's a little bit rough. So if it starts like, oh, it's good, it just exponentially gets better. And I mean exponentially. And I think.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No worries. And I think it came out last year, but it's I think the 6th one does a great job to have its own story, but at the same time has the most competitive scene. You can just Google Mega Man Battle Network Discord competitive scene, and you find this Discord that has a lot of people ready to just play online. And it's there. I've seen tournaments organized about this and everything, and it's crazy, crazy, crazy. Which we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about this later, because I think the game I enjoyed the most this year is quite old. But yeah, so now
Yeah.
Yumao, what do you think?
No, no. Just a quick note, right? Like, I mean, I always play Mega Man ZX and X like once a year, I think. But whoever wants to get into Mega Man Battle Network and really wants to go for the full collection, I'd say like try the DS version for Mega Man Battle Network 1. It has like having both screens at once actually help you with the map and everything. It's called Operate Shooting Star, right? In Japanese, you can there's actually a mod, a fan translation that's actually real well done. So if you want to go for the full collection, I'd say first go through that and then start the Legacy collection from the second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that out of the way, I'm gonna go into my highlight of the year. All right. So I'm gonna go for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Oh, hi, Mr. Onum, I love you. All right. So, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I got so absorbed in it that I'm 400 hours in, and I'm very close to 100% completion.
Yeah.
And I'm 400 hours percent, like 400 hours in, right? I still have
400 hours. Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
yeah, like I have every Korok seed. I have like almost every cave, every side adventure is done. I'm almost done with the side quests. I have every piece of armor, right? Like, I'm going deep, right? My map percentage completion is like 95%. Like, very close. I'm close, but I just can't stop playing this, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
just
Makes
I
sense.
just can't get enough with it. It's just
What else is there to say? It's one of the best games ever made.
ever made.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is like the mechanics, the building mechanics of this game are
Yeah.
incredibly fun. Like the
Uh,
compilations sometimes are even more fun than the mechanics
yeah.
themselves.
No, and it's so incredible what they did, right? Like you have the same base Hyrule map as you had in Breath of the Wild, but I definitely give them props for using it again because it feels completely different just due to the
It
sheer amount of things you can do now.
it allowed them to do a can I say it allowed them to do a kind of have a jumping point, like a launch pad
Yeah.
for this to expand.
Yeah. Cuz
I think this game deserves its own video, but
for sure, but it was like we were talking about the games we played this year and this is definitely the highlight of the
it's
year,
half of your
right?
year.
Like I've been 400 hours in, right? Like I could play an hour a day and that's more than a year,
Yes, more than a year.
I have more than a year invested into it, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you do
yeah.
it that way. And I'm still going in, so I definitely had to mention it. Like, of course, let's talk about it one day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like
We have
the
to,
game,
we have to.
especially after the VGA is nominated for game direction, and I think it's going to be very interesting to talk about the direction this game took by reusing a lot of its
The thing is that a lot of people will see the reused assets as a
Yeah.
weakness for game direction, when I actually think is like the reason why it has its strengths. The
Yeah.
reason this game was able to make these super incredibly complex and weird mechanics
Yeah.
that are so systemic is because they could focus, and the level design that it has, it can have that level and that level of community because it has a launching pad.
Yeah.
That is Breath of the Wild.
Of course.
Without
like,
the
just
launching pad, this game would be still years away.
years away, and just the amount of systems, mechanics, and level design added into all of that could make it its own game, right?
Yeah.
Not Zelda, right? Another entirely new game, but they reuse that just to use it as a launching pad and make it
Yeah.
a more complete experience. So I give them props for that.
just grow, like just grow from a launching pad. That I think that was
Yeah,
a brilliant direction to take before this formula gets fatigued.
exactly. I think
and
so
uh,
too.
and I actually think it gave longevity to the fatigue, to the it gave longevity to the formula in the future, going into the future, because now you can do these continuations, the same formula, which is what Majora's Mask did for Ocarina of Time. It gave
Yeah,
longevity to that formula, and Tears of the
exactly.
Kingdom gives longevity to this formula by reusing Breath of the Wild's assets and world. I
And
think
that
it's
still
quite,
took them 6 years.
yeah, and it still took them 6 years
Six
and
years.
the help of Monolith Soft to do this. But
Yeah.
I actually worked with the guy that modeled the Master Sword that is using these two games.
Oh my god.
Yeah, his name is Akiyoshi Tamanoi. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah. I actually worked with him.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
my god. Like that must be a dream, dude.
His work is brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess
This can
let's
take its own video. Let's move on. Yeah.
yeah, let's move on. Now, for me, this time I'm gonna talk of something that I didn't like.
Oh wow, I didn't play this. I didn't. I was hyped
I
for it. I didn't
I
have the
was
money
really
at the time.
hyped. I love Harry Potter. Everybody knows. My
I
brother
love
and
it
I,
too.
we grew up with Harry Potter. I was this black hair, blue eyed kid growing up.
And you're literally Daniel Radcliffe's age, or almost.
Yeah, I am
like 1
Daniel
year younger.
Radcliffe's age. I am Daniel Radcliffe's age. I grew up with
Yeah.
this. I grew up being called Harry because I was this kid with the same bowl haircut that he had. Remember that he had with blue eyes and black hair. I
Yeah.
looked really similar. And maybe we can
Yeah.
post
Yeah.
in social media or something. In Instagram, we can post a picture of how I looked back then, and you will see. I like people call me Harry because at the same time we were looking really similar. Now,
Yeah.
I want to start saying the positives. I think the combat was great. The crafting mechanics are great. The world was incredibly realized. Hogwarts was incredibly realized. I love what they did with the broom that they allow me to fly everywhere. This is the problem I have with this game, and I just want to focus on it really quick.
Yeah.
The mission design broke me, literally broke me.
Right.
I'll tell you, Mao. I'll tell you why, Mao. So, really quick, they are side quests that they're hidden as side quests, but they're not side quests because the reason to to continue the story, you need certain spells.
Yep.
To have those spells, you need to go to class, and to go to class, you need to do assignments. So the assignments are sold as side quests in the game, but they are not. Now, they are obligatory quests. Not all assignments are obligatory, but some are obligatory quests that they're not shown as such, that you need to continue to go to class. Now, let me tell you what these assignments are. The assignment is go and dodge an attack with circle 5 times. Go and get 10 of these potion and use them in battle. Go and capture this specific monster and tame it.
I see now. Yeah.
Here's the thing: if those were optional quests, I would be fine because I can choose. But here's the thing: I got stuck the first time this happened to me. So the first time it happened to me, they say this like go and dodge and attack 5 times, and I'm like, there are no enemies in Hogwarts. Where do I find monsters? So I'm just running around like crazy. Where do I find monsters? Until I went to the Forbidden Forest, found a frog that attacked me in a river, and I dodged 5 times, and then went back and did what I wanted to. Now, does that sound like something that is fun?
No, to be honest, that sounds like these sort of achievements that get implemented in games when they like when for example for Switch games that do not support achievements, right? Those in-game achievements. That sounds like that
It's
kind of
called
stuff.
padding. The reality is
Yeah,
that the level design is very padded in this way, because probably when they were making the game, the scope went out of control. They had some problems with the
probably,
engine. It's Unreal,
probably.
uh, and then they needed to pad the game really quickly with like side quests. So
Yeah,
they follow a Ubisoft formula of having, so Ubisoft catalogs its mission in Primo or Platinum, Gold, Silver, Bronze, and Wood. So the assignments I'm talking about would be Wood, but at least Ubisoft, 90% of the time, if I remember correctly, they just make them optional.
yeah,
Here, they're not.
right. No, I played like Immortals Phoenix Rising, not this year, right? When it released,
Mhm.
back when it released, it's a great game, but yeah, like those sort of missions are, yeah, they're optional. They're even placed into these daily assignments just so that you get like some sort of l- live service
Yeah,
game, like a little bit into it. But yeah, those wood ones would be like daily assignments, and that's it.
exactly. And these they are, but here you need the spell, so you need to do the assignment. So tell me, are
Yeah,
they optional? No, they are
no,
marketed as optional, but they are non-optional. And
right.
first time it happened, I said, okay, probably because it's just a tutorial and it's the beginning. Second time it happened, and then when they make me catch a monster, I was like, I just got away, and then, am I having fun with this game? Not really. Packed it, went and sold it. To be honest, I wasn't having
That's
fun.
yeah,
Broke my heart because I was expecting this game. This is the Harry Potter game that I've been waiting since the original GameCube ones, the Sorcerer and because the Chamber of Secrets for the Nintendo GameCube is amazing,
yeah, it's a really
amazing.
good game. Yes,
Yeah, and I was
yeah.
like, finally a Harry Potter game, like when I was a
Mm,
kid. Yeah, it is not.
right.
Sorry.
I mean, I still want to try it. I'm a huge Harry
Yeah,
Potter
sure.
fan, but yeah, that kind of
It's kind of sad, but I wanted to
yeah, I'm
mention it.
feeling
You
a little
know,
sad about it. No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it's what we played and the highlights and stuff like that. I mean, I cannot talk about every single game I played right in a video, but ah, damn.
so your turn, Mal.
My turn. All right. So I think I'll be going for one of your highlights as well, which is Final Fantasy 16. Probably deserves
Ay.
a video again.
Yes.
There you
Also,
go. Sorry for that.
the sexiest character I've seen in a while is Sid from this
Oh
game.
yes.
Mm,
Yeah, Sidolfus Telamon.
yeah, he's sexy as
He's-
hell. To be honest, I would kick him
yeah.
out.
Oh my
And
god.
he's
Oh
like,
my
"Oh, the
god.
girls are beautiful, the characters are beautiful, uh, all that stuff." But
Hey, can
honestly,
you?
like,
The video
yeah,
got
yeah.
like. No, no, no. The video got like. Can you
Oh,
place it in stage again, please?
I'll try. Yeah, there it is. Perfect.
There you go. There you go. Wallpaper. Wallpaper.
Oh my god, yeah, like, oh my, I don't know. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
I was
He's
talking with
hot
a
as
friend.
hell.
I was talking with a friend, and it's like, imagine him rescuing you from a fire.
Yes.
And I
Yes,
was like,
please. Yes,
I was
please.
like, oh, he's like, well, yes, thank you, sir. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. Yes.
So
Though Clive
yeah,
is hot as well. Clive is hot
yeah,
as well. Yeah,
he is,
I'm not
but
gonna lie.
Sidolfus looks like he has experience behind it. You know, it's like, he has that rugged
Yeah.
look and everything, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm feeling things for this character. I am. Is the truth. The thing is that for people listening to us, we both are from Mexico, so this
Yeah.
game has Latin American voiceover.
Yes. I
And,
actually know someone who worked on the Latin American voiceover. Yeah.
yeah,
Latin
so
American Spanish. Not
Latin
that.
American Spanish. So the Latin American voiceover has the voice of Piccolo as Sid. So the Spanish voice of Piccolo of Dragon Ball is the voice of Sid in Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Which is why my second playthrough I played it in Spanish exclusively for that reason.
Yes. Yeah, no, it like, and it's very well done. Not just his voice, but every single one. Like, it's just so well done, so well done,
Yeah, I enjoyed.
right?
I honestly enjoyed Final Fantasy 16 way more than I thought I was going to. I actually is my favorite franchise in video games ever. Which, by the way, we're gonna get to that on the next point. But it's my favorite franchise of video games
Yeah,
ever. Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has always been my jam. But I kind of grown sour a little bit with the franchise, with the direction and they took and everything. I like Final Fantasy 15. I am not that cynical about it. I don't like what they did with 13 at all, and I think that
Yeah.
the focus has been a lot on Final Fantasy Tactics. I think we're gonna talk like I don't know in which order this podcast is gonna go live, but I want to talk about the strengths of Final Fantasy for the future of Final Fantasy, the same way we talk about the future of what we think the future of Zelda should be. There's something to discuss there. For my next game, and probably the video game I enjoyed the most this year, because something new I discovered about it.
Just-
I played it
Hey,
a long
just
time.
real quick, shout outs to Diego Valencia, who voiced Terrence in the Latin American Spanish version.
Shout out. So the thing is, this game I played a long time ago, like when I was a teenager, but I played again this year because I discovered something different that I'm gonna talk about. And this game is Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions.
Oh my god, the PSP remake, right?
Yes.
So good.
But there's something specific about this one that I played that I played this time. So I haven't played it in a long time, to be honest, more than a decade. So I did a playthrough of it, and I realized how good of a game it is. So I haven't played it since I actually went and studied game design. I became a game designer. So I went back with like a little bit of designer eyes and how it looks, and it holds up even better. I think the strength of Final Fantasy lies in its art style, in its storytelling, and its combat design, of course. But one of the strengths that I would like to mention is that the job system, the class system of Final Fantasy in general, when you can play with that, Final Fantasy 5, Final Fantasy 3, the MMOs, Final Fantasy Tactics, when you can play with the classes of Final Fantasy, it's such a strength that I just don't understand why it doesn't happen. One of the things, like in another video, we're going to talk about the future of Final Fantasy, but this is one of the things they should be focusing on more. It's class system, because it's class system and the way they mix them up together, I think is incredibly unique. It's incredibly elegant, and I think they should be pushing this more. Now, here is the thing that changed how I see Final Fantasy Tactics. Final Fantasy Tactics came out with an emulation with a online mod. So it has online multiplayer.
Similar to Mega Man Battle Network.
Yes, similar to, but made by fans.
Yeah.
And so they use the connectivity of the PSP one to have multiplayer through the emulator. It's amazing.
Which was, but that was some sort of feature on the PSP and PS3, right? You could use the ad hoc and connect to the PS3, and
but it was
I imagine it. Yeah.
But now with this mod, with the in the emulator, first the mod rebalances the game for multiplayer. So no incredibly broken Black Knights and stuff like that. So it actually makes it significantly fun. It's quite an effort for the fan community. So I think this is what brought me back to Final Fantasy Tactics, and I don't regret it. It was an incredible experience. Final Fantasy Tactics is an amazing game. Play it in any way you can. It's one of the best games ever made, in my opinion. It's my favorite tactical game. Video game. And this ties to my next game, but the thing with Final Fantasy, I really enjoyed it. The story is incredibly like well written, fantastically translated in the PSP version, in my opinion,
Yeah.
and it's so deep in every way, shape, or form. The combat is incredibly deep. The story, the characters, the art style is very rich. Akihiko Yoshida, I think, is their best concept artist.
Yeah.
In Square Enix, and Matsuno was their best storyteller in Square Enix, and I think Hiroyuki Ito was their best game designer, in my opinion, especially for like tactical gameplay. It's just an amalgamation of like beautiful minds working together and struggling together.
After Tactics Ogre got its I think it's a remake, right? After Tactics Ogre, I wish they went back into Final Fantasy Tactics. It's time.
Square, it is time.
It is time.
It is time.
Right? I actually played this year a little bit of Tactics Advance 2. Not too much, right? Like I went like 10 hours into it. Oh my god, it's really good. It's not as good.
Tactics A2 is way too long.
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, I haven't finished it. I mean, I'm like 10 hours in.
I think that, but Final Fantasy Tactics itself, I think we're having some difficulties. Can you hear me, Mao? Yeah, we're having some difficulties now. It was bound to happen. Okay. So, sorry guys, we're back. We had a little bit of a difficulty there. So we're talking about Final Fantasy Tactics, and I think it's
Tactics A2. It's too long. I'm like 10 hours in, but it's still a great game.
Yeah,
it's still a great game. Like I really wish Square went back into the Final Fantasy Tactics IP, and man, after seeing, for example, Fire Emblem, what Square could do with Tactics, man.
I agree.
With its job system and everything, like a new Tactics game would be like godlike.
I would love that, to be honest, but we're allowed to dream. For people that want to get into like the multiplayer of Final Fantasy Tactics, you can go to YouTube into Tactics League, and that would guide you in the right direction. They organize tournaments as well. So Tactics League at YouTube. I think that's a great YouTube channel that teaches you all about getting into Final Fantasy Tactics.
We should make a Final Fantasy video, right? Like talking about like ranking them or because I also played this year when I was getting ready for Final Fantasy 16. I started playing every single numbered Final Fantasy. I have played them in the past, but I really wanted to go through them, especially in the pixel remasters and everything, right? And this year I got to play Final Fantasy 6 and 7. But like talking about them like can require like its own video, right? And like ranking stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
it will require its own video.
And people will hate me for what I'll have to say about Final
me
Fantasy
too.
6.
To be honest, me too.
But
if my opinion of Final Fantasy is controversial, significantly controversial.
Yeah, no.
But I'm willing to defend my point. And I think it would be a multi-part series, to be honest.
Exactly. So we can definitely talk about it because one of the I did play them, Final Fantasy 6.
As for Final Fantasy Tactics, the Tactics League and Tactics Live Tournament are the two YouTube channels that you can follow that are great for this. So yeah, that's probably the video game I enjoyed the most this year is Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, I think one that I am actually going through with my girlfriend right now is oh, can you change the yeah, it's actually Luigi's Mansion 3.
I
I'm
want to hear
almost done with
it.
it. I'm almost done with it. I'm actually going through it with my girlfriend. Like, I'm Luigi, she's Guigi. I love Guigi, man. I love
Yeah,
Guigi.
I thought of this
Oh
one
my
to
god.
also play with my girlfriend. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this one is a little bit harder than Kira in the Forgotten Land because in a way it is like a dual stick game.
Oh,
There's no
okay.
camera requirement, right? Like, you're not moving the camera, but to you rotate the while you're using the poltergeist, while you're either you use it with both with any of the triggers, right? When you're doing that, you actually rotate with the other stick, right? So it might be a little harder. My girlfriend sometimes has a little bit of issues with that, but it is such a good game with it has a lot of charm,
Yeah,
right? I love the Luigi's Mansion IP, right? Like, I've played through all of them. This is, I mean, I still have to finish this one, but I played Dark Moon and the first one, and I think this is by far the best one. There are still some issues with backtracking that Luigi's Mansion just hasn't been able to solve them, right? The first one
yep,
is full of backtracking. The second one doesn't have too much because it's mission based, but this one still has some issues of backtracking. But besides that, like, it's such a good game, such a polished one with a
yep.
lot of charm, and it looks, at times it looks like it should have been like an animated movie because it just looks that good.
Yeah, I think so as well.
The
I
lighting
actually
is just so good.
I actually have a shout out here. Brett Hoff was one of the main engineers of Luigi's Mansion 3. We studied together in Vancouver, and he's brilliant, a brilliant programmer. Um,
Man,
a brilliant programmer.
Next Level
Uh,
Games is such a great team.
yeah,
They're such a
so
great team.
that's one guy that I want to bring into the channel to talk about his experience working in these games. So
Dude, I'd be hyped for that because I
yeah,
love
yeah.
this. And like,
So
Next Level has worked on Dark Moon and this one,
Dark
which Dark
Moon,
Moon is being
yeah,
rebranded. But
yeah.
yeah,
So he was he has been a programmer for Nintendo for Next Level Games for 7 years, and he has worked in
oh,
several projects. And
I'd love that.
hopefully
Yes.
hopefully we'll have him in the channel in the future to talk about his experience working with Nintendo and the Luigi's Mansion franchise. He's one of the best
Hopefully.
programmers I've ever met. Like, we studied together, and he was genius. He's like a mathematics like degree, and then a computer science degree, and then did visual and game programming with me. He
Yeah.
was crazy, 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 crazy.
No, and he must be because Next Level is like a dream team. To be honest,
It is
they're
really, it's a team that is really hard to get into. Yeah,
yes,
really hard.
yeah, yeah. No, they still have this Nintendo standard, right?
Yep.
Like,
Oh yeah,
they
that's why they got bought.
yeah, right. Like, they're really good, and I mean, a lot of people didn't love Mario Strikers Battle League because of the amount of content it had, but the gameplay itself, it feels really great. It is
Yeah,
really great, right? So
yeah,
yes, they still have that Nintendo standard, and it shows. That pedigree shows. Right?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely,
Try Luigi's
absolutely.
Mansion 3 if you can. It's really good and full of charm.
Yeah, it is. My final one is not a video game. So I've been mentioning around that I discovered Warhammer this year, and now that's my game of the year is Warhammer, but not
No,
normal Warhammer.
this guy just can't get enough, guys. Like,
It's a
he
problem,
calls me very often, like, dude, I bought a new army, and I don't play Warhammer, but he's like, I bought a new army, dude.
man. Guys, if you know Warhammer, I'm currently building an Adept Sororitas army for 40k, and I have an for Age of Sigmar. I have a Stormcast Thunderstrike army. I finished my 2,000 point army recently. I started playing like 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's
It's
not
been an
good.
issue. It's been an issue. It's consuming my mind.
That's not, dude. Though
Yeah.
I'm not
So
gonna lie, like, I spent a lot of money just getting every single Tears of the Kingdom piece item that Nintendo released. right? Like
Yeah.
it was a lot. So I feel you
No,
on that.
no. I finished. I read 3 books. I have all the like. I have this my battle tomes. No. I'm surrounded. I'm painting one now. Like because they released this one, the Black Talons. They released this one with the book, and so it's a problem. Now, what is my game of the year overall? Well, the game I discovered this year is called Warcry. So Warcry, and the reason why it ties to Final Fantasy Tactics, because Warcry to me and to everybody I talk to feels like Final Fantasy Tactics in a board game form. What the reason why I war, not just that like Warcry has this great kind of middle ground between playing Warhammer, because playing Warhammer can be incredibly overwhelming. It's You have to paint dozens of figures and read books that are like this size and this thick, and you need one for the core rule set and then the battle tome for your army. So it's significantly overwhelming to get into Warhammer straight up just out of nowhere. And this is if you get into Age of Sigmar, which is the fantasy one, which got rebooted. Well, not rebooted, but it got kind of completely reworked, so it got simplified. Because if you get into 40K, it's significantly more difficult. Because it's decades.
Right.
This thing has been around for more than 40 years, right? So it's difficult. So what does Warcry do? Warcry is what is called a skirmish game. It's even written here. A skirmish combat. A skirmish is little amount of units in interesting setups. So if we go down, so Warcry would look like more like, it's like my Warcry warband is like 5 or 6 units compared to 20 on my army, or 25 or 30, or depending. Some armies, I had a Warhammer game that was the army I was fighting for had like more than 100 units. More than 100 units that you have to paint, by the way. So
wow,
incredible. Yeah, it's crazy. It's
crazy. It's crazy. Yeah,
it's really fun, but it's crazy. So what does Warcry do? Warcry brings a rule set similar to Final Fantasy Tactics, in which you have AoE attacks, you move and you have an action. Like in Final Fantasy, you have a move and an action. Move and an action. And the action can be attack, the action can be moved twice, for example, the use an ability, disengage. There's several things, but it's similar to Final Fantasy Tactics in that sense that it's a similar rule set. And if you see it, like it's very simple to start. This is an older version, but you can like you can buy a warband, you can buy a set like a board game, and it comes with everything. 2 warbands ready to fight and everything you need to know, and then you can expand little by little, but you can play straight up. You can play really quickly and get into the hobby really quickly. And the rule set is brilliant. Why? Because it uses randomness in a strategic way. What do I mean? Your pool of mana, or your pool to use ability, is dice. So you roll 6 dice at the beginning of your turn, at both of their turns, and whoever has more unique die of 6 number, a d6, goes first, has initiative. But your doubles, your triples, and your quads are used for abilities, for your magic. So at the beginning of each turn, you don't know what your resources are, but then when you roll your die, you had your resources there, and then you strategize by having what they call, like, you can add dices to your pool, and what that happens is that allows you to turn a single into a double, or a double into a triple, or a triple into a quad. So you start organizing what you're gonna do in your turn through randomness. So they use randomness for a strategy, and it's incredibly rewarding. It's really, really fun. And it's a lot of game of probability. Another thing that is really interesting is that same as Final Fantasy Tactics, the terrain has rule sets. What does it mean? If you're on higher terrain, if you're behind a wall, if you're in a rope bridge, for example, there's a rule that you can destroy rope bridges and everybody that is on top of it falls and gets damage. When there is fall damage, there is like you can climb things like
Yeah.
this. So if you buy new terrain from anything, the rules that apply, or you can make your own. You can expand this forever. Now, this is interesting as well because Warcry has a campaign, has a story to tell. So you can play with your friends a campaign.
Yeah, similar to D&D.
Yes and no, because you're fighting each other. So each one has their own campaign, and we each one acts as each other's enemies. So you have your campaign and I have my campaign, and we're going through our separate stories, but we're interconnecting in our stories, and depending how you win, how you lose, you progress your campaign. But we are both each other's enemies. We are both each other's AI.
That's pretty interesting.
Yes.
Pretty interesting.
The games are really short, like 30 minutes, you're done. So if you want to have a full campaign, it's like 3 hours. So this is like an amazing game with unique rule sets, incredible abilities. You build your armies, and then your units from Warcry, you use them in Warhammer. So they interconnect. So all the units from Warhammer have rules for all the units within reason. Like the giant dragon doesn't, but the smaller units, all the small units from Warhammer have rules for Warcry. And the opposite, all the war bands from Warhammer have rules for Warcry. So this is my game of the year. This is my game of the year has been Warcry. This year, Warcry's new expansion and Warcry, because this is the second version of Warcry. This is Warcry 2.0. And it has been incredible. It is the best game that Games Workshop has made. It's the best game they currently have. And for some reason, they don't want to make it competitive, but there's tournaments everywhere and there's people playing all the time. This is my game of the year is Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry.
Right. Now my game of the year is definitely Tears of the Kingdom. Like definitely. Now it's very interesting because a lot of people, when I tell them that, oh yeah, I'm a game designer, I'm a level designer, they expect me to be playing like whoever doesn't actually know about games. They think like, oh, this guy plays a lot of Fortnite. I'm like, no, way more casual. I love playing Mario.
Yeah. No, Fortnite tends to sometimes not be super casual.
Yeah, no, and it kind of shows of what I played this year, right? Like these were just a few of the highlights, right? Like it doesn't mean that they're the ones that I enjoy the most, except for Final Fantasy and Zelda, of course, right? But I played a lot. I played Mario Wonder, which, my God, I didn't bring it up because it just released. It's still getting all of this attention from the media, right? But Mario Wonder, like 100%ed it. I devoured it. I also devoured Resident Evil 4, and both games could actually have their own video. Both games.
No, so I think I'm gonna have. I want to talk about board games more because I didn't talk about Gloomhaven, which is a masterful board game that has a video game form like version, but the board game, the physical board game, is incredibly fun.
My issue with board games is that I don't have the people to play with, right? And it's not the same here as there. Like you cannot find a community that easy here, so it's a little difficult to get into board games.
You'll be surprised. I'll tell you why. Every Games Workshop registered shop can organize for you games. So what I do, I don't know if everywhere, but where I live right now, I can call the shop and it's like, hey man, like I want to play Warcry. I don't know if anybody's available. And they have a list of players. So people that get it, when you buy your army of Warcry, you register in the shop to Games Workshop database. And they based on your location, they can call you on your phone or send you a text message. It's like, hey, people are looking to play Warcry. Are you up? Which happened 2 weeks ago too for me. And he's like, do you wanna play Warhammer? 2 weeks it was Age of Sigmar, but do you wanna play Warhammer? And he's like, oh yeah, I have a weekend. And then you go to a shop and they have everything ready. If you don't have terrain, sometimes they lend it to you. A lot of shops have terrain so that you can go. So you just go with your army. And then there is foldable terrains. They don't allow them in official. We might be having another difficulty. Sorry, guys. Another technical difficulties. I am currently in a new apartment and the internet has been a little bit spotty on my side. But we're back. These are the games that we play that we enjoy the most.
Yeah. I mean, there are a ton that I could have talked about, right? Like I played so much, right? Even released this year, I played Resident Evil 4 as well. I played Mario Wonder as well, right? So there could have been so much more, but I think those also deserve like their own special videos, right? I did want to mention Tears of the Kingdom because, of course, it's a highlight for me. Like I live for Zelda, right? And Final Fantasy is like, I love Final Fantasy with all my heart. But yeah, so those are some of the games, right? Like I also played, for example, Star Fox Command. I played it this year, which is a little dark.
We did about the worst game I played this year called Red Ninja. Just horrible.
Oh,
but for some reason I played it. So there's plenty that we'll talk in the future, and we'll probably make more videos about this as along the year, or when we play something interesting, we'll probably bring it forward. It might be a solo video, it might be like a full podcast. We'll see. But yeah. Guys,
I hope you liked it. I hope you liked it, guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Oh, what a weird order.
But you did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Please, guys, I hope you had fun. I hope we shone some light on a game that you want to try. And yeah, if you have any ideas for videos you want those guys to make, like, also comment them. It'll be real fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, games that you tried that were impressive and we didn't talk about, and let's just keep talking about it.
All right, guys. Hope you had fun. See you guys.